When we're in physical pain, the first thing we focus on is the physical sensation. But if you try to remember exactly what happens during pain, like me, you might also find that it is also an emotional experience. But in the past, I've found it easy to miss the emotional aspect of pain. And now I've realized that when I neglect emotions, I'm missing an important opportunity to do what little I can to take back control when everything seems bleak sometimes when you have pain. So, how are emotions and pain connected? That's exactly what we're diving into today. And if you've ever felt that your mood and stress seems to make pain flare up, get worse, you're going to want to watch this video. I'll show you what I've learned about how science links emotion and pain and how something as simple as gratitude journaling can play a role in helping you shift things. Hi, I'm Pauline. I've lived with chronic pain for half a decade now, and in these years, I have tried and tested various ways to heal my body. And in this video, I will share three major research backed ideas about how our emotional world and our experience of pain are intertwined. We'll then look at two practical things you can start doing, including using your gratitude journal to help you use this connection for your benefit. Now, this is especially for anyone who's suffering from pain and is looking for ways to regain control of their lives like I am. Let's see how much emotional state actually matters. Research shows that pain isn't only a physical signal, it is also an emotional experience. According to the International Association for the Study of Pain, pain is defined as an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with or resembling that associated with actual or potential tissue damage. Now, this is an expanded definition of pain by the association. The definition also includes other factors, other things, such as acknowledging that pain is always a personal experience that is influenced to varying degrees by our biological, psychological, and social factors. Now, research suggests that specific emotions have specific effect on pain. Now, emotions such as sadness, anger, and anxiety, they tend to increase pain unpleasantness. And sometimes these emotions can increase the overall pain intensity as well. Studies have shown that when people are in a more positive emotional state, then pain intensity and unpleasantness are also reduced. So if you're like me and have been thinking that pain is purely something wrong with my body, we are only part way there. Now, researchers will continue to find new insights on the relationships. What's most important at the moment for me is recognizing that our emotional state really matters, and this gives me some hope that I can do something about it. It's not about dismissing the physical pain, but it's about giving myself a sense of control. And if you're also like me and find it helpful to have reminders, I'm sharing with you these self care affirmations. To me, these are tools that remind me to take care of myself in every way possible: emotional, physical, social, psychological. So if you also want it, grab it from the link in the description below. It is for free. Now, the second point: emotional regulation can influence pain. By emotion regulation, I mean the way we handle our emotions, how we regulate or express them. I found that research shows that emotional regulation affects pain outcomes. So, in the context of chronic pain, especially, looks like it is even more important. Studies show that in chronic pain, maladaptive emotional regulation and catastrophizing can increase pain experiences. So basically, broader literature supports that how we regulate or express our emotions, they can change our pain processing. This means you don't just feel more pain when you're in a bad mood. It looks like you and I, we biologically process pain differently depending on our emotional regulation. So when I found out about this, I was like, oh, so when I think I can't change pain, actually there is something to change how we relate to our emotions. And that's powerful. Even a small shift in emotional habits can shift our pain experience, or it has power to shift it. So if you have not already downloaded the free self care affirmation cards, make sure you get it from the link in the description below. Pain and emotion are in a two-way relationship. Now, it's not just that emotions affect pain. Pain also affects how we experience and process our emotions. I've noticed this myself, like when I wake up with pain in the middle of the night and the intensity is quite high, I often tend to feel frustrated and my mood is low. Just let me know if you're also going through similar experience or what has your experience been in the comments below. So then when I found out that research on pain and emotion suggests that pain and emotion are a two-way street, I found it quite helpful that it was not just my mood. Now, pain changes emotional processing in chronic pain. So those of us who have chronic pain seem to often show certain kind of a bias. That means that if we have ongoing pain, it may make things like sadness, anxiety, or emotional overwhelm more likely, which then cycles back and can worsen pain. Now, this interaction between pain and emotion seem to be very integral to persistent pain. So, if we take this information positively, then the good news is that by breaking the cycle, by actively working on emotional awareness and regulation, I have hope that I can reduce how much pain drags me down emotionally and how much my emotions fuel my pain. So, self care affirmations help me with being more vigilant and active in my emotional regulation. So, if you want it for free, download it from the link in the description below. So, practices like acceptance and gratitude, they matter. Research on emotional regulation strategies in pain have found that acceptance based approaches, like allowing pain and related emotions without judging them, could potentially reduce subjective pain, though the results vary depending on the pain type and also the study design. And studies also show that positive affect can reduce pain. For me, practicing journaling has been helpful in managing my emotions. In particular, gratitude journaling has been one of my go to methods of collecting and savoring the positive experiences. I do this alongside keeping my pain diary, a pain journal, where I give ample space to not just tracking my bodily pain, but also reflecting on the emotional aspects and even my thinking. So here's where your gratitude journal or any other kind of journaling that can come in. Now, regularly noticing positive things in my life, I do increase the positive affect in my life. I strengthen my emotional regulation and give my brain and emotion system evidence that I'm not just reacting to pain, but also engaging with my life. So this practice gives me, again, a sense of control. Over time, I'm hoping that this may reduce the emotional amplification of pain. Using a gratitude journal isn't a cure, but the more consistently you use it, the more I feel like it is like supporting our nervous system and our emotional brain to shift that could lighten the experience of pain. Here's your step by step journal and emotion awareness for pain support. We move into the actionable part. So, use a gratitude journal daily. Write three things you're grateful for, maybe a brief note about how you felt when thinking them. If you feel bored with writing just the same things over and over every day, like what are you grateful for, the same three things, then I do have guided gratitude journal that you can use. The link is in the description below. And then again, the next step that you have to do is like you might want to try is add an emotional check-in when you feel pain flare up or you notice tension. You could pause and write, what emotion am I feeling right now? What is the body telling me? And then step three is practicing emotional regulation. And it could be acceptance, like saying, it's okay, I feel pain right now. Or you could try reframing, which means that this pain is a signal, not a verdict. So my chronic pain journal takes into account all these aspects of physical and emotional aspect of pain. If you'd like to grab it, the link is in the description below. So you now know how emotion and pain are intertwined, how your feelings affect your pain, how pain affects your feelings, and how practices like acceptance and gratitude help you intervene in that loop. So grab your journal, check in with your emotions and body tonight. Your pain might not disappear overnight, but you're giving it a new context, a new relationship, and that makes a difference. Now, you might be wondering what other ways I use to cope with a difficult situation, like chronic pain, stress, overwhelm, burnout, everything that I've been through. My next video shares with you another lesson I've learned along the way in my journey. See you there.